Hello, YouTube fans and Facebook fans of DX Engineering. It's Thursday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It's 1830 Zulu on June 15th, 2023, and this is the Manufacturer Showcase. Today, we are talking about Field Day. We've been talking about Field Day for the last 2 weeks, and we are going to continue talking about Field Day because it is a big deal. And today we have two of the great guys that make Field Day happen at ARRL headquarters. Hello, Bart, W9JJ, and Paul, N1SFE. Hello, guys.
Hey,
Hi, Tim.
good afternoon, Tim.
Thanks for having us.
I got to believe that there's so much buzz going on at headquarters about Field Day. What do you guys have to think about this?
Well, I mean, Field Day is a very exciting time around HQ because it's one of the biggest operating events ARRL has in the year, and lots of people, ARRL members and not ARRL members, are very excited about it. So phones have been ringing off the hooks with questions and lots of emails. So everyone's excited.
And as you know, Tim, the stats from over the years have put this at over 30,000 amateurs participating in this annual event.
Yeah, it is so cool. And to have you guys on, I mean, what are you hearing on the phones, Paul? I mean, what are guys asking about?
A lot of the questions I get are, what class am I? Can I operate from here? Can I operate from, there's all, everyone's always asking for an interpretation of the rules. Am I allowed to do this? Am I allowed to do that? So it's a lot of rules-based questions, and also a lot of people asking for help to get put on the Field Day Locator page, which is a map. We have a Field Day locations that are open to the public, which is accessible through our Field Day website at www.arrl.org/field-day. So it's a great resource for amateurs all around the country to find a Field Day location near them.
Not only amateurs, right, Paul, but also would-be amateurs, right, that want to get interested.
Yeah, Field Day is open for the general public can stop by and visit. Field Day groups set up in parks, open spaces, and any public location. And it's a great opportunity to demonstrate to the community what amateur radio is all about, and let them participate, and even get a chance to get on the air, and maybe get some new hams out of the event.
So Paul and Bart, let's talk about changes from last year. There's been some changes in the rules for Field Day. Can you speak to that?
Go ahead, Bart. Let me grab these. As you know, Tim, and the community generally knows, we'll start with one of the more obscure ones. The Canadian sections have had some modification, and there's been 3 changes to that now in the sections list. So be sure to pull out your section list when you're organizing for your Field Day activities, or wear your ARRL Field Day shirt, which on the back has check boxes for all of the Field Day sections. Keep in mind that we've now modified the GOTA rules to make it easier for them to track the number of QSOs that they make. There's no limitation in the number of QSOs. It's 5 points per QSO, no limit. And of course, now it's a little easier for the GOTA station coach to get a bonus as well, being present for at least 10 of the coached contacts. And Paul, you want to talk about the class changes a little bit?
Well, the main class change has to do with Class A and B stations can now run up to 500 watts output power. Last year, we limited all stations to a maximum of 100 watts output power. But Class A, B, and C stations can now run up to 500 watts. And those are stations, 1 or 2 person portable locations are Class B, and 3 or more participants are Class A stations out in the field. And Class D and E home stations are still limited to 100 watts output power.
The idea there, generally, for those who wondered why the change, is there still are some areas, especially our remote areas, Alaska, Hawaii, some of the Pacific, and even some people who are in low-lying locations just felt that the ability to communicate out of their challenged locations was difficult. And so if they're an A, B, or a C, they have an opportunity now to consider selecting a higher power class. And again, also, and you'll probably get into this, Tim, but people are asking, well, what's all this scoring about and things like that? Some people treat field day as a contest and scoring as a component of how do you associate all the bonuses with the QSO points, and is there a meaningful number at the end where we can compare it against how others in our community do. The other thing is field day an emergency exercise? It is certainly that as well, and we hope that our groups will demonstrate as they get together with the general public that we are there not only just to have fun and make contacts, but we're there to show how we can get on the air during challenged conditions with generators, portable antennas, set up at a moment's notice, bad weather, good weather. And finally, is it just a social event? Does it bring the community out? Municipal leaders, people who haven't been engaged in amateur radio in a long time, people who know nothing of what it's about. So it's a little bit of something for everyone. It's what you make of it.
You know, that's a great point. I mean, Bart, you know, field day is unique in that it can be, you know, different to everybody and to every club. And, you know, in a lot of cases, Bart, and I know you know this, that this is the biggest event for a club during the year is field day. And thank God for the ARRL to put all this together, and to Paul, for you to have the patience to go through and answer all the questions. But this is, you know, it can be as simple as a couple of QSOs or a couple of thousand QSOs.
Right.
And, you know, Paul, let's talk about some of the items that you have on the ARRL.org website to help people with field day.
Okay, we have what's called the big thing on our field day website is we have what's called the field day packet. The field day packet contains not only the rules documents, entry forms, and anything you need to submit a score for field day on paper. It's also got frequently asked questions lists and all sorts of information, you know, to really describe how to get bonus points. Interacting with the media, because you know you want to get some media attention. It's a treasure trove of information on the field day packet. So the website is definitely something that should be referenced prior to getting out for field day, and it's got a lot of information out there.
You know, Paul and Bart, I want to talk about safety. I want to talk about being safe on field day, because every year something happens bad. So, you know, Bart, let's talk about how clubs and groups can be safe on field day.
Sure can, Tim. And one of the things you may be mentioning here, but I'll mention it now, is the field day insert that you so graciously sponsored. Within the insert, we do actually have the field day safety information page. And it is a step-by-step category on the different levels of safety groups should consider. But, you know, begin with the basics. We give a bonus for having a safety officer. Have somebody in charge of that, and take charge. Don't just, you know, go in it for the points. Go in there and say, okay, I have a checklist. This is not everything, but this is a place to start. How is our site configured? Have we put up safety flags or markers for guy wires, where we're going to manage fuel, where the coax cables and power cables are being run? What are we going to do if a storm comes up? What are we going to do to secure the location? What are we going to do if somebody gets injured? Do we know what our local access is to safety and or health people if somebody has a condition, a medical condition? How are stations configured? Have we organized the way that the event is going to unfold so that we're not guessing as to what steps to take, if and when something comes up? Do we have grounding? Grounding is so critical, especially in areas that are potentially subject to either static or lightning.
So, those things are very well captured in the packet that Paul talked about, that it has the safety form and getting a safety officer. So that's really an important part. Paul, can you talk a little bit about the media, getting out and getting the word out into the general public?
Okay, so there we do have again on the packet, again that's at arrl.org/field/day. That's where the field day packet is. So you go there on your browser. There is a bunch of public relations information to sample proclamations. You can get out to local dignitaries or press releases out to radio and TV stations and newspapers. So there are bonus points for groups and individuals that do gain some media publicity. So we do encourage them to do that, to get the media out to their locations to cover them, and to get public dignitaries and local law enforcement officials and the mayor out to your site to visit, and maybe even show them what amateur radio is all about.
Yeah. So Bart talked a little bit about power. Let's talk about QRP. I mean, there is a really passionate group that operate at 5 watts or less. Bart, how does that go?
Well, there is a separate category when you are determining how you're going to set up your field day activity. You decide of sorts.
Your video for some reason.
Yeah, we're working on that.
We'll be back with you. If you can still hear me, I'll keep going.
We're radio guys.
Keep going, Bart.
So to begin with, there are multiple categories. Within those categories, there are power multipliers, and one of those power multipliers is for QRP. QRP contacts are worth 5 points each. The contacts have to be made 5 watts or less, and have to be made on a emergency type power, not commercial for that power, for that point level. The second thing is you come into this with a strategy. How are we going to plan to operate this event, QRP? What's our goal? If your goal is simply to set up and operate QRP and you don't have any particular antenna style, you don't have any goals on who you think you're going to contact, you just get on and do it. And in fact, for many people, that's what field day is. Just get on during the period and see what you can accomplish with little or no preparation. Other groups have significant strategies, as you know, and they will determine, okay, if we're going to do QRP, we want to place greater emphasis on feed line loss and on antenna gain. They may look at it and say, you know what, there are 3 modes of communications, which are categories for the event. One is phone, one is CW, and one is digital. Are we going to focus more on CW and on digital to accumulate more contacts? So again, it's different approaches depending on how a group prepares in advance.
So there's preparation, there's the operation, and then there's submission. And Paul, let's talk a little bit about how do I get all the stuff that we did on field day up to headquarters in a package that is acceptable by you?
Well, the preferred method is to use our online web submission application. We've modeled it after the old paper forms. You could still submit your entry by paper, but we really do encourage it you to do it online through our online web application. It really makes it easy, and you can upload all your bonus point documentation you need to. Everything can get uploaded, and it's one easy step to do. You can get everything all together, and you get a confirmation saying that you've successfully completed it right then and there. And it's the preferred method to do it.
And Tim, you know that when we do that, when you do upload through that web app, there's a bonus for actually using the web app. So there's additional points. One of the greater challenges we find when people do the web app is they don't always supply one of the key documents. And that has been something that has evolved through the years, which is a dupe sheet. The dupe sheet premise is that, especially as you get groups who haven't assembled and operated together over the years, they don't always necessarily know that they might be duplicating contacts with another one of their stations. So a dupe sheet has been the tool of choice. That's been modified over time with electronic logging, et cetera, but we still need an attachment. We need either the dupe sheet, which many logging programs can export, or if they just give us their log, we have a pretty good idea that even to generate that log, it does not include dupes.
Well, that's really good information, Bart, on the dupes and the logging. But let's talk about the gear. Let's talk about, you guys have some really cool T-shirts on. And so the ARRL has lots of great gear for field day, and we have it here at DX as well. But Bart, let's talk about that, the gear.
Sure. So as you know, from the ads you've seen, our website, the magazine, you've got plenty of 2023 ARRL Field Day information, from shirts to posters to mugs to pins to our antenna product, our end-fed wire antenna, hats. So there is a great banners even. So there's a great amount of publicity information, especially for the formal groups that are really trying to make a splash in their community. This is an opportunity for them to get the message out broadly, big and bold. And also, of course, they can use some of that same material in their publicity. And we encourage them, Facebook, locally, club newsletters, again, getting information out to their local media. So all of these are positives. Paul, what else you got?
And you can visit the ARRL store off of our website, and there's a whole bunch of merchandise available for purchase, and also the.
I was going to mention also, Tim, in the Field Day website, insert in QST, your insert, that we have 7 tips to Field Day success in there. And we hope that readers of QST and of your insert will actually take advantage of the learning experience from those 7 tips. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. That's the beginning. There is so much more to it.
Well, and we know, guys, that every year there are a whole host of new ham radio operators, new licenses that get involved in Field Day, and certainly the QST insert. And we are so proud to be a partner with the ARRL in promoting Field Day and promoting all the on-air activities that go on. But Field Day is special, and one of the guys, Mike Papa, here in the chat room said it's like Christmas morning for adults. Field Day is that special, and Field Day is what got me hooked into contesting. And Field Day is also what gets so many people involved in the hobby. And I'm just so glad to have you guys on today. Thank you for taking your time. But more importantly, thanks for all you do at ARRL with all the folks up there at 225 Main Street. It is so great how you keep the hobby glued together, and all you do to promote Field Day and all the other activities up there.
Thank you, Tim. Well, we couldn't do it without you guys as well in the community. We are only as strong as all of our members and supporters.
Well, and I'm so thankful that you've got the video today has been very, very good, because you've got folks helping behind the scenes. And before we go, I want to make sure that we put in a little audio file here that we're going to have. Let's see here. I'm going to share a screen, and we're going to go right to N2NT is one of these great operators that also participates in Field Day. He organized one of the largest Field Days ever, but he memorialized some of what he does it did in that field day here.
Field day. Nothing works on field day. Trying to erect my tower in the mud. Beam drops. Almost falls on my head. Breaking the director. Looks like 20's dead. Field day. Just for the club I do it. I wish I joined you in. I'll never come again. Field day. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Field day. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Field day. Again in the rain. Field day. Better get the bug spray, or I'll just pack up my rig and go home. Field day. Just for the club I do it. I wish I joined you in. I'll never come again. Field day. Better get the bug spray, or I'll just pack up my rig and go home. Field day. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Field day. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Field day. Again in the rain. Field day. Whoa.
Well, you get the idea.
Yeah.
Second verse, same as the first.
We better get the bug spray. But thanks so much, guys, for being on today. And we wish everybody a very safe and happy field day. And Bart, Paul, thanks for all you do.
Thanks. Thank you. And thanks for having us here today.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks to your
All right.
viewers.
73 guys, and 73 to all of you from DX Engineering.